He's done it!
Throws up the floater.
Oh, it's astonishing.
Pulls up three-pointer.
On that note, welcome back to another episode of Off the Record. I'm your host, Bailey Jackson, joined by my lovely co-host, Lachelle Smith. And up until this week, you probably thought this was a basketball show because we have just been talking about basketball for the last 8 episodes. And we want to switch it up a little bit because we are well-rounded individuals when it comes to knowing our sports information. Okay, so we're going to get into a little bit of football talk to start off the show today. We've got Micah Parsons versus the Cowboys. The longer the Cowboys wait, they run the risk of A, overpaying for Micah, or B, creating some alienation or divide between him and the team that could have been avoided. If you didn't know, Micah Parsons and the Dallas Cowboys have been trying to negotiate a contract for Micah. That's my 2 cents on it. It's turning into a little bit of a Dak situation, what we saw last year. And that's kind of the question I want to ask is, are they pulling another Dak move? With him, they waited until the first day of the season to sign another contract. If they wouldn't have signed, or if they would have signed him earlier, it's been said that the team could have saved upwards of $8 or $9 million, but they didn't. They quote unquote dragged their feet. And I know some people look back on that deal and it said, with that 8 or 9 million, they could have maybe got Derrick Henry. They could have done X, Y, Z, right? Do we think they're going to do the same thing with Micah? Lachelle, chat, what are your thoughts?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I am not a Cowboys fan, chat. My brother is diehard, been his whole life. Not a fan. I don't like how the operation is run. I don't know how you could be a fan of a team that hasn't won a championship in quite some time. But who am I? Yes, they are doing the same exact thing again. I don't understand the waiting process. I don't understand the theatrics with Jerry Jones. It's literally the same thing again. He did it with Dak. Then he did it with CD. Now you're doing it with Micah. And I'm not understanding it. Like, I don't, it's not necessary. Then he goes up there and he's like, just because we sign him, that doesn't mean he's going to be available. And I'm like, he got hurt playing football. Like you're upset at him as though he got hurt doing something. He got injured playing what you're paying him for. Like, those are inevitables. You can't anticipate that. I don't understand the waiting. I don't understand this little cat and mouse that Jerry Jones wants to do. This is Jerry Jones. This is the Dallas Cowboys front office that's not able to say, hey, enough is enough. Micah Parsons is asking for something that's very reasonable. He's looking at his peers. TJ Watt just went through the same thing with the Steelers. Now he got paid. Now this is the second time he's been the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL. So yes, if I'm Micah Parsons and I'm looking at my peer, well, he just reset the market again. Now, if you would have paid me before that, you would have saved some money. But now I'm looking at him and now I got to bump mine up a little bit. So now you hear, David Mulgeta is trying to get in touch with the in-between and Jerry Jones. They don't want to talk to him and they haven't gotten, it's just nonsense. Like, you want to act like you're the Dallas Cowboys in this front office in this great organization that is dominant. Does this look like dominance to you? Like, you're not trying to sign one of your best players? It's idiotic to me. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. It's literally insane.
No, I agree with you. We've got somebody else in the chat who said that they're not a Cowboys fan, but it's just crazy to see them doing it, even though it's expected with Jerry, SMH. And at this point, it is expected with Jerry. We've seen time and time again. So it's like, are we surprised? No. Is there ever going to be a learning lesson? I don't know. And maybe that's what needs to happen. Maybe a player does ultimately need to, I don't know, walk away, do something, absolutely absurd, insane, cause, some type of uproar that finally makes it click for Jerry. I don't know. But yeah, it definitely seems like it's heading in that direction that we've seen historically. So it is with no surprise, but hopefully they will figure that out soon because the season is coming up and you hate to see a player get signed literally the first day of the season like they did with Dak. It's not a fun situation to be in by any means for the player or for fans, right? You don't want that uncertainty. Moving on, I want to touch on the Washington Commanders. We got Jayden Daniels going into his second season. I want to focus on the outlook of what this sophomore year could be for Jayden Daniels. Will he be able to have the same level of success this year as he did in his rookie season, or will he see the possible classic sophomore slump that a lot of rookies have? For example, we saw it in CJ Stroud last year. Chat, Lachelle, chime in. What are your thoughts, Jayden Daniels year 2?
To in between for me, I think the hardest thing about that sophomore year is that people know how to game plan for you now. Your rookie year is going to be the best time to make the biggest splash. No one knows exactly what you're capable of. They don't know necessarily what can stop you, and kind of you're able to showcase everything. I think it's in the in between. I think the Commanders are in a better situation than the Texans were in with CJ going into his second year, where it was a struggle. But I think that's like an offensive thing with them, not necessarily a specific thing with CJ. I think with Jayden, with the organization, I think they're well equipped for him to have a really good sophomore year. I feel like they've added some things. They're still trying to figure out the Terry situation, which that's also annoying. But I think Jayden's going to be really good this year. I don't want to give him too much expectation because, again, it's like rookie year is an anomaly sometimes. Like, we didn't know what you were going to look like. Now we know, but also defenses know now too as well. So things are going to look different week to week. So I think it's an in between. I don't think he's going to be exactly how CJ was in such a bad season that he had in that sophomore year. But I think it's like a mix of, wow, he's still really good. And also like, okay, he is second year in the league. This makes more sense.
Yeah. The issue with CJ, in my opinion, was he was almost a victim of what was happening around him. It's like you had issues with the offensive line, you had injury issues. It's like most of your wide receivers were out. So his sophomore slump is hard to compare to anybody else's because it was kind of a unique situation. That being said, I do have a similar positive outlook for Jayden Daniels. I am concerned about Terry McLaurin, though. You mentioned that he's holding out. And it's kind of a similar situation to what's going on with Mike and the Cowboys. It's like the longer the Commanders wait to sign him, you have greater odds of starting the season off on a not strong note. And you don't want that to, manifest itself. And in all fairness, Terry needs, or not Terry, Jayden needs Terry. Like, I don't know if Jayden is.
Yeah.
I don't know if Jayden's the quarterback like that we think he is without Terry McLaurin. So, like, that needs to settle itself first before I feel like I can have any, like, significant opinion. But that's my 2 cents on that. I do think it will be interesting to watch him going into this year. He had, like I said, a very promising, rookie year that gave us a really good outlook on what we could expect for him the following years. But you never know. I mean, sophomore slump, it hits some quarterbacks. And hopefully he's not one that suffers from that. With that being said, I do want to transfer over to a running back conversation because earlier this week we had Saquon Barkley comment on Bijan Robinson. He had high praise for him, saying that there's nobody who's able to cut like Bijan in the NFL. There's not. You can go argue with your mom about it. Trust me. I love myself and I think I have great cuts. There's nobody. His vision, his agility, and he can catch the ball too. It's going to get scary for a lot of people as he continues to figure it out. With that being said, I want to open up the conversation. Who are running backs outside of Bijan that you think we should keep an eye out on this year?
Ooh, Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm always going to be a fan of Jahmyr Gibbs. The Lions are exploring some new options with him offensively, and that's lining him up even more as a receiving back. That's going to be terrifying. Bucky Irving. I think Bucky Irving in Tampa Bay is going to look scary. I think those are, James Cook. He's another one that I'm a big fan of. Rookies, Caleb Johnson, Travion Henderson. But I think he is right. Like, Bijan is, he really is insane. Like, it is. He's really special. He truly is special.
Yeah, the Hawks got a good, or not the Hawks. What am I saying? The Falcons have a good one.
It's all the same.
Right city,
it's
wrong
Atlanta.
sport. Right
It's Atlanta.
city, wrong sport. Wow. See, that's what I'm saying. We've been very much in a basketball mindset for the last 8 weeks, and now I have to switch back into football mode.
It's Atlanta. It's Atlanta, you guys. It's all the same.
You know what? I should have just said Atlanta has got a good one because then I would have been wrong. And why do they have 2 birds as mascots? It's not easy. Respectfully, you have a hawk and a falcon. You couldn't have come up with something more creative.
What's stronger, a hawk or a falcon? I'm going to guess falcon.
I'm gonna guess a falcon too. Let's look it up. We got it. Okay. We got the computer over here.
Yeah.
Our favorite investigative research.
Or should we go on like Chat GPT and say who would win the fight, hawk or falcon?
That's exactly what I'm doing. Who's gonna win a fight?
I'm taking the falcon. I feel like they have a sharper nails or something like that. Or what is it? Claws?
I think falcons are just bigger birds too,
Oh.
but I don't know. I can't say that confidently. Okay. ChatGPT says in a 1v1 fight between a hawk and a falcon, the winner depends on the species and context. But hawks usually have the edge in raw fighting ability.
Oh.
Okay. Did not know that.
Interesting. Hmm.
Okay. Well, there
Y'all
you
just
have it.
learned something.
We just learned something. I've never seen a falcon in real life. I've only seen a hawk, so I was
Hopefully
wrong.
this hopefully this means the Falcons and the Hawks will be good in these
Yeah.
upcoming seasons.
Maybe we just ChatGPT helped us predict something. Who knows? I don't know what that accomplished, but anyways, to get to the point, Atlanta has a really good running back in Bijan Robinson. If I were to say a list of top running backs to watch this year, somebody in the chat said Derrick Henry. I was
Oh yeah.
gonna put him in a different category, that we'll get to in a second. But I want to say Brees Hall is someone to look out for this year. He had a pretty good year last year, and I feel like if he stays healthy, he'll be straight this year. And then you named somebody that I really wanted to touch on, and that's Travion Henderson out of Ohio State. I think he'll be really good. I'm surprised you didn't say Ashton Genty. What are your thoughts on Genty?
You know, I like Ashton and I think he's going to be really good, but I think I have a fear with running backs taking that high and my expectation for them.
Okay.
And I think sometimes I'm a little weary. I do think he's going to be really good. I do think his size is a problem for me because I don't feel like Ashton's that fast in terms of like top speed. I think he's fast after contact because he's able to absorb it because he's a little bit more muscular.
Mm-hmm.
But he is a little smaller to me. And I feel like if you're going to be small, I feel like you also have to have some speed. I don't know. Chat, let me know if I'm wrong, if I'm underestimating him. One, he's also an amazing human. I've been in a lot of interviews and things with great guy, great family, amazing. I am just interested how that translates. And I think that was a question a lot of people had, which is like, oh, he's a little bit smaller, but he is muscular. He's able to absorb contact. So he's going to be good, but I don't know. Maybe it doesn't scream off the charts for me just yet.
That's fair. I mean, with all these rookies, we don't really have a good gauge of how they're going to be just because,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at the end of the day, they're rookies and we've seen what we've seen from training camp, but that only tells us so much. We haven't even had joint practices yet. So I think with time, maybe that answer could potentially change, but I agree with you on that as well. With that being said, I want to transition. I know I said Derrick Henry is reserved for a different list, and that list is who are the top 5 best running backs in the league right now. Do you have a slightly different list than what you already gave us?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Who are the top 5 for you then?
Okay. I'm scared, chat. Okay. Number 1, Saquon. I'm gonna give him respect. Number 2 is Derrick Henry. Number 3 is Bijan. Oh crap. My 3 and 4 might change because I think 3 for me is actually Jameer. 4 is Bijan.
Mm.
Ooh, dang. 5 is Christian McCaffrey. I don't care the year he had last year. I know what a healthy Christian McCaffrey looks like. I will not be bamboozled into believing anything other than what he dealt with. That's just miles on the tire. I'm like, nah, man, I know what I've seen. If you're healthy, oh, top 5 easily.
I respect that. I'm not mad at that. Someone in the chat said they're not mad at that either. It's just an injured McCaffrey. I don't know if I could put him in the top 5 right now. But I guess if like
Really? Off of last year? That's fair.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you're gonna like my list. I have got some similar names, but I have Derrick Henry, Saquon, Jameer Gibbs, Josh Jacobs, and then I've got Bijan.
I like Josh.
How are you feeling?
Josh is a great running back. He deserves to be in a top 5 list.
Okay.
Yeah, he deserves to be in the top 5.
Good. Someone else in chat agrees, so I appreciate. I appreciate
Yeah.
I appreciate just the confirmation that I was, on the right path. Oh, awesome. Okay.
Yeah, you were there. Josh Jacobs was on like my fantasy team. Like he got me great points. So I'm a fan.
That's good. Yeah, we love when players get us fantasy points. You can never be a hater.
Sure do.
If you win your fantasy league, or if you at least do well in your fantasy league. Speaking of which, shout out to Jonathan Taylor. I don't know why he didn't make my list the more I'm thinking about this now, but I know he's helped a lot of people out in their
Mm,
fantasy leagues. So he's
shout
an
out.
honorable mention. And it just, I mean, outside of fantasy, like he's a great player just in general. But um, that wraps it up for the football chat, guys. We had our little football moment for the week. We're gonna, of course, have more because we're getting into that time of year. But I do want to pivot over into a little bit of basketball because we love talking about basketball. And this character right here is maybe not a fan favorite, maybe not someone that you want us to talk about at all. But guess what? We're going to talk about him. It's Ben Simmons. The Ben Simmons sweepstake is heating up, and he's expected to make a decision on where he'll be taking his talents within the next week. Now, this news dropped about a week ago. So at this point, it could be any day now that we know where Ben Simmons is landing. And according to Brian Windhorst, the Kings, the Suns, the Knicks, and the Celtics have all been connected to him. But reports also say that Simmons has no interest in going to Phoenix or New York, and he's reportedly leaning towards the Celtics. I just want to start by saying it's kind of funny how I look back on the conversations that I've had about Ben Simmons, whether it's been with friends, family, or even on my account on Instagram or TikTok. I thought he was going to retire. Not even thought he was going to retire. I suggested that he was going to retire. He has been injured on and off for almost 5 years now. I thought it's time for him to hang it up for a while. So the fact that we are now talking about another team that Simmons could potentially land on, I'm starting to question like what team is kind of like silly enough to sign him. And if there is that much upside in Simmons at this point, and at this, not only at this point, but where he could make an impact, more importantly, because at the end of the day, we are talking about where he could potentially land. Lachelle, I want to kick it off to you with the teams that we've mentioned and with the teams that we haven't mentioned. Where do you think is the best landing spot for Ben Simmons?
He needs to go somewhere that isn't expected to win, and he needs to go somewhere that will give him a loving environment and love him for who he is as the season goes on. Boston is not that. Joe Mazzulla and him are not going to last 20 games. Wouldn't work. New York, he's correct. Shouldn't go there either.
Really?
Phoenix, that's not a loving place. That's not a
true.
loving area. That's not a
That's
loving fan
true.
base.
I could see him having some issues in Madison Square Garden for sure. But I
It wouldn't
do
work.
think that for his playing style and just like the best way to maximize Simmons, it's surrounding him with shooters, right? You've got a shooter in Cat, you've got a shooter in Jordan Clarkson, you've added some other people in the offseason that I think that would be like would pair well with him. And then I think he's a good backup to Brunson. Like I don't think New York is a bad option for him. Obviously, he said he doesn't want to be with the Knicks, so it's like I don't know if this is a mute conversation at this point, but I thought the Knicks were a good match. We're
I
disagreeing
think how
for
you
the
broke it
second
down.
time. We're disagreeing for the second time.
No, I think how you broke it down, I think that is a valid argument. I
Yeah.
think
Okay.
the problem for me is it is hard for me to think about solely basketball with Ben Simmons.
That's
Because
fair.
I'm like, you're just, I don't know. I guess too, I think I'm thinking about the Knicks and what they just went through. And it's like, do you really trust that he, from a basketball standpoint, is actually going to help you come playoffs? Would you put your trust in Ben Simmons to help you and be substantial in a playoff series?
Yeah, respectfully, no. And that's
Okay,
the
then.
key. I understand. Like that's that very much the key to the argument. Yeah, you're never gonna rely on Ben Simmons. At this point in his career, you're not gonna
No.
rely on Ben Simmons. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Mm-mm. But Boston, I need him to elaborate on that. Like, why Boston? Because their fan
Let's
base is
see.
not forgiving either.
I want to know as well why Boston. So let's see. We'll get some more investigative research. Why Boston for Ben
Because
Simmons?
that's very specific. To name a team like Boston, like after what they're dealing with Jason Tatum now not being available for a season, like Boston, I would go
I don't know.
Phoenix. They're not expected to win anything. No
Low
offense.
expectations.
Yeah, love Devin Booker. I really wish he would leave the Suns and go to a winning team. But I'm like, I would go somewhere with no expectations.
Let's see why Boston. They are the like. It seems like the overwhelming favorites. Like it definitely seems
Oh
like that's where
wow,
he's going to end up.
I'd
I've
be
seen
doggone.
multiple reports are saying that he's favored to sign with them. Um,
Mm.
Now why? Suddenly the article disappeared. I don't know. I don't know why Boston. Maybe
Mm.
with a little bit more research, a little bit more digging, we can answer that question at a later time. But if he does end up in Boston, how do you think that season's going to look for him? Put on get your, what do they call it? What do the genies have? Your
The
glass.
little um um dang, what is it
What is it
called?
called?
Like get on your little genie cap or something. Isn't it like in Aladdin? Okay, that's nothing.
Pat, help us out here. What is it called? Your
Yeah, my glass ball or something.
yeah, but
My
I thought there's a name to it.
crystal ball?
Crystal ball. Thank you. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Get your crystal ball
Um,
out, predict the future. What do you think a season with Ben Simmons on the Celtics looks like then?
me taking my personal feelings aside, in a system that is Joe Mazzulla and the Boston Celtics, being around that atmosphere could help him a lot. I think it allows them size, gives them kind of like this point forward type of situation that could be very helpful for them. I think size is always the best thing for Boston, and kind of being able to utilize someone like him that I wouldn't say is a shooter, but is able to put pressure in the paint, get to the basket, and also somewhat be a defensive presence that can kind of guard 1 through 4, possibly, or even 1 through 5, depending on what you're looking at. It makes sense, I guess, from a basketball standpoint, if they're trying to have something that maybe they lost recently in off season. I guess I see it. I see it. It's just hard. I don't know. It's just hard for me to believe that they're going to get the best out of him, but I could be wrong. Being in that competitive environment, that a team that is looking to win, it could help him. Maybe that pressure is a good thing. Maybe he needs that expectation that we're going to expect you to come out night after night. We don't have Jason Tatum. You're going to have to do a little bit more, earn your minutes, earn your time. And maybe it gradually turns into Ben Simmons having 15 points per game for a season, which to me would be a win.
Yeah.
So maybe it works.
We have somebody in the chat saying that Dallas is a good option. I want your 2 cents on this. They said he could serve as point guard until Kyrie is back. How do you feel about him being the step in Kyrie?
How much more do y'all want the Dallas Mavericks to have? Enough. They don't need anything else. Enough. They just got the number one. Enough. Enough.
No
I
more
will,
for Dallas.
I will not entertain it with you guys, chat. I will not do enough. They have enough. Then they got talking about LeBron supposed to be there. Enough. Enough.
Oh, speaking of which, that LeBron take, where not even take, that he said he was going to sign with Dallas before he signed with the Lakers. Like that was an option on the table. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of saw that coming. Not pre-Lakers, but I remember I had a take back when Bronny was about to be drafted, and I said, "Don't be surprised if LeBron goes to Dallas to link up with Luca, and then he forces Cuban to sign Bronny so him and Bronny could play in Dallas, and he retires a Maverick."
Your crystal ball was working.
My crystal ball was on.
The only thing that changed is that Luca got
Going
traded.
to Lakers.
That's the only thing. That's the only thing. And now he's trying to somewhat get away from. Well, not really. It's not Luca's fault. It's really the front office that he's more upset at. But how much more? If Braun goes to Dallas, I'm sick of it. I'm gonna be like, what did Nico Harrison do to change everyone's mind like this? Did we not see what he just did? He traded Luca in the dead of night. The man was asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And now everybody wants to go to Dallas. Everybody, oh, this person should go to Dallas. Are we all forgetting what he did? Are we that forgiving? Am I that broken in my heart that I don't forgive that easily?
They must be cutting players an equity check. They're getting a stake in the Mavericks. Something's going on behind the scenes.
Something. Gosh, I don't get it.
We've got one more person said Golden State for Ben Simmons before we move on. Thoughts on?
I like that.
Okay.
I like that.
Why Ben Simmons to Golden State?
I think it gives them the versatility that they're needing. Size is his best attribute in being able to handle the basketball and be a point guard, but also being able to be somewhat of this forward at times that can give pressure and defend. And I think Golden State, depending on what they do with Jonathan Kuminga, that could be a great pickup for them, is Ben Simmons.
I respect that. I guess time will tell. we should hopefully know. Like I said, the news that we would know in a week was a week ago. So it could be today, it could be tomorrow, it could be Tuesday. For our YouTube friends, it could be whatever day you were watching this episode. I don't know, but it should be any day now. But we will see. Like I said, Celtics are the favorite, so don't be surprised if you see them in Boston in green and white next season. On that note, I do want to transition to a similar topic that we were kind of touched on just here a second ago about equity in teams, because Steph Curry got on 360 with Speedy earlier this week, and in his interview with Speedy, Steph was asked, considering what value you guys are bringing not only to the league but the organizations, do you think guys are underpaid? Steph said yes and explained his reasoning. He said, I think because of the way the CBA is structured right now, we can't participate in equity. And that's a big deal because it is a partnership with ownership. It's a partnership with the league, and we're on the short term of that revenue. Curry said those contract numbers sound crazy, but what the league is doing from whatever era you want to compare it to now is probably 10x that. The idea that we can't participate in equity while we're playing is part of why I would say yes, we are underpaid because we want to be able to participate in that rise. He then goes on to say, hopefully sooner than later, those rules change a little bit so that players can participate more in the upside of the team equity, the league valuations, and all that type of stuff, just because I think we deserve it. That was a lot. Let's take a second to digest that. And let me also phrase it for everybody else to understand, just in case you don't know what he's talking about. So to break it down for y'all, Steph is basically saying that players should be able to earn an ownership stake in their team while they're still playing, which is currently prohibited by the NBA's collective bargaining agreement. Right? I'm gonna start off by saying I think I like Steph. Let me phrase it this way before I offend anybody.
It's about to take a turn.
Let me phrase it this way before I offend anybody. I like Steph. I think Steph has great takes majority of the time. I agree with what he says majority of the time. But I think this is extremely greedy. And here's why. It comes at a really interesting time where you have the WNBA, who we've talked about the past week or two, going through CBA negotiations of their own, fighting for some of their players to earn more than 5 figures, right? So you're an NBA player earning hundreds of millions of dollars. You have your counterparts on the W who are currently in this battle to fight for their players to earn just a little bit more than 5 figures. I think it comes at bad timing for starters. And then on top of that, you look at other leagues, more specifically, look at the NFL and the money that they bring in, right? The average NFL team is worth about $6.49 billion per CNBC's 2025 valuations, and the average NBA team is valued at around $4.6 billion. Yet, NFL players are not making NBA money, nor are their contracts guaranteed for the most part. So that's another thing to consider. You're in a league where you're not even the league with the highest team valuations. You're saying you're underpaid. You look at the NFL. I think MLB may be in a similar-ish conversation. I don't know the numbers around the MLB as much as I do with the NFL. But again, I think it's really greedy. I don't know what more you could possibly be asking for when you're making that much money. And I think that this is just taking it a step too far, in my opinion. Thoughts? Chat, chime in as well, please. I want to hear your thoughts on this because I feel like this is really controversial and not as controversial as it's making out to be.
Yeah. I mean, it's fair. I guess maybe this is our third disagreement now we could tag on, because I get what you're saying, which is like you're making a ton of money. Like we start looking at these contracts, NBA guys are getting some bread.
It's insane.
Yeah. It's a lot. I also 100% agree. It is a horrible timing to even speak about it, knowing that the WNBA is like dealing with what they're dealing with right now. I guess I do, maybe for him specifically, I can see him saying that because he's looking at the numbers of the evaluation of Golden State before he got there and what they look like after he's there. And it's like, say you are to sell this team, whatever your asking price is later is probably directly correlated to me. And I'm not seeing anything from this. So I guess for him, I'm not going to say that for all the guys, but for him, I could see him saying, hey, like, I know what I changed in terms of value of an organization finance-wise. And I forgot what they said, how much Golden State was valued at before him. But I think after, when Steph gets there and everything starts rolling, it got to the billions.
Mhm.
All I could be wrong on that, chat, but I think there was like a bit of a difference. So I guess I see it specifically. I will say when I interviewed Jaylen Brown during All-Star, I asked him if he was commissioner for a day, what would he change? He also said equity. And he was like, I would like for us to have a piece of the pie. Keep in mind, this is someone who's on the Players Association Executive Committee. So he's also speaking about this. And specifically, he's speaking about an organization, a franchise that he's with that recently just got new owners and got paid a good penny for that team. So I think for some of them, it is different. I think if they were to do it, it should be specified by organizational value, franchise value, player direct correlation to an increase in that value. And I could possibly understand why he's saying, yes, the contract is great, but I am also an asset that is making a franchise, even when I'm done playing, have increased value. So I guess I understand his equity argument. I do like that he specified, because he could have easily been like, well, I think our contract should be more. I think he was very clear and like, I think we're underpaid in other areas. Maybe not the contract, but in assets and in equity, when you're sitting at these tables and hearing how much a team is really valued at because of you, it is a different conversation. So I guess I get, maybe underpaid was the wrong word, but for sure, I kind of see his stance a little bit.
I guess instead of underpaid, do you think undervalued would make more sense? Or
Maybe
what
so.
word would you replace it with? Because I do agree. I think underpaid was maybe not the best way of phrasing it, and that's no shade to Speedy or anything. I think it just is a matter of how Steph answered the question. But how would you phrase the question differently given Steph's response?
Maybe the question is really, because underpaid is not the right word. And I think that's why he didn't want to really say like contract, because he knows it's not that. I probably would have said, what do you think is an asset that NBA players are not able to have yet in the league that you think would be of great value? And I think that's when you're like, the biggest thing is that we should have equity, because that's a huge asset that tacks on a ton of more money that might even supersede this contract. We both can agree underpaid was the wrong word, because they're not underpaid. Mm-hmm. But I think that's why he was like, in the sense of equity, it's like we're underpaid in that sense, because I'm not even able to have ownership in it. So like I'm missing out on money, I guess, essentially, even though I'm bringing in money for this franchise at a value that could be close to $1 billion or more. Yeah. Undervalued is hard for me too, because it's like you're getting paid a ton of money, so you're not really undervalued either. You're just not able to maximize your value. Maybe that's it. They're not maximizing their value in other ways. Because like, are you really undervalued if you're getting a big contract? Not really. No. So, because you're getting paid fairly in a sense, right? So I think maybe they're not maximizing on every sense of the value and asset that they are as a player. That makes sense, I guess.
Because they're not getting the value from the quite literal valuation, right? They are still able to go out and profit on, I mean, almost like a college debate, NIL, right? Their name, image, and likeness. Yeah. So it's like, in my head, okay, yeah, you're not benefiting from it directly from the team, but you go out and you have a whole shoe line with Curry brand, and you have, other deals that exist. I mean, I don't know Steph's whole, portfolio of brands that he works with, but it's like you kind of make up for it in other ways. So you have to, I think about that on top of the contract that he already has with the Warriors. It's like you're still bringing in a lot of money in excess of what the Warriors are already paying you. And that's also largely because of the success that you've had with the team, right? Then the name that you've built within the organization, the name that you've built on the court. So I go back to my original argument where I'm like, I think it's just still greedy, because you're benefiting still in other ways where I think, like, I don't know, if players weren't making money off of endorsements and other deals, then I think I would be more inclined to lean your direction. But it's like, you're still getting a pretty penny in an indirect way that
for sure
is very similar to the whole equity conversation, if that makes sense.
No, I'm with you. I mean, it's greed for sure. I guess it's also justified greed. Because I guess, okay, if we put ourselves in his shoes, say someone sits you down and your financial advisor is like, this is how much you're worth. That's endorsements, that's the shoe, that's everything. And you're like, wow, I'm rich. This is generational wealth.
Yeah.
Now, say that same financial advisor says, okay, so this is how much the owners of the franchise that you work for, this is how much they get. And you're like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah.
And say that same financial advisor comes to you and says, this is also what the franchise is valued at if they were to sell it tomorrow. And all you see is a big B for billion. And you're like, wait a minute. And if that financial advisor says, if you would have had this percentage of equity, just this hypothetical billion, this is how much you also would have been owed from that. It's justified greed in the sense of name, image, and likeness, like you're saying, which is it's name, image, and likeness to a T, honestly, because the college players felt the same way. Like, college is $1 billion business, and I'm not seeing anything. Steph is seeing money, right? Which is your point. He's rich. You have all this. But it's like these owners also have a lot, and they continue to get a lot. So I get what you're saying. Y'all, Bailey is very much the greedy police. Like, she doesn't understand the sports betting. Why are you doing that and you're rich? She doesn't have any empathy if you get caught and you do it. She has no empathy for Steph right now, saying, I'm worth more than... She's like, greedy. What are you asking for more for? I get what you're saying, because it's a lot of money. They're filthy rich. But I guess if I was in his shoes, if I was sitting at that table, I would be calling my mom and being like, I just saw how much I'm worth in this organization. On top of that, I want equity. I want ownership. Because if you sell this thing 20 years from now, 15 years, whenever, and I'm not going to see anything from that, not even a peep, when I'm the reason you can sell it at the price that you can, it changes the conversation a little bit.
Yeah, I understand that. If you were in Steph's shoes and you had the outlook on what the numbers were looking like, then I totally get it. But I'm not Steph. I don't have that money, and I can't put myself in those shoes. So respectfully, call me the greedy police. I will be happy to wear that hat. But I can't stand behind Steph on this one. I understand where you're coming from. I respect your take.
You're like, enough. You have money.
You have money. What, like, it just gets to a certain point where it's like, what more do you need? What more do you need?
It's a fair point.
What more do you need?
That's a fair point.
What more do you need? I would understand maybe if you were, what's his name, Malik Beasley, and you were in debt a little bit. But what more do you need? You're not in debt. You have a beautiful home. You have a beautiful family. You have a very prospering career. You have a career.
He said he wants it all
outside of your current career. I don't know, chat.
He wants it all. He wants it all.
I don't know, chat. I don't know.
It is bad timing. It's
horrible.
Timing. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean,
if I was in the WNBA, and I saw the headline and I watched the interview as he said it, I would probably be like, bro, we're fighting for our life right now.
Right.
This is not helpful. Like,
no, absolutely.
Just save it. Just save it for a few weeks, a month. Just save it. Or turn it in our favor and be like, I don't think we're underpaid. What's going on in the W right now, that's a problem.
Right. You want to talk about underpaid? Let's focus on the WNBA. Let's focus on the Valkyries. Let's focus on the WNBA team in the city that I play for. Why don't we talk about that?
Yeah, I feel it. But he felt comfortable. He felt comfortable with Speedy, and he said what he really felt.
Speedy's the problem. I'm blaming it on Speedy because everybody feels comfortable with Speedy.
He was like, great. I'm about to tell you right now. I'm rich, and I'm trying to get richer. And this is exactly why.
I'm blaming Speedy. Speedy be asking the right questions.
He was comfortable. He was so happy to talk about it. Like,
he was.
Yeah. Tell him.
The rich getting richer. Speaking of the rich getting richer, Billy Donovan just signed a multi-year contract extension with the Chicago Bulls. I'm born and raised in Indianapolis. We know that. Been there, done that. I'm a Pacers fan, but I'm a transplant. I live in Chicago now. So am I a Bulls fan? No. But do I follow the Bulls a little bit more closely? Yes. And as a result, I've been in touch with the Bulls community, and I can strongly say that this is the last thing that the Bulls needed, according to Bulls fans. Chicago has wanted to see Donovan out for at least a couple years now, and the solution in the front office, let's keep him for a few more. At the end of the day, I have 5 words for the Chicago Bulls. You don't want to win. You don't want to win.
That's 5.
That's 5. We can count. We can count, guys. Yeah, that's 5. You don't want to win. Billy is one of the many problems this franchise has. And I think it's come to a place where, not even come to a place, I think this has just been the rationale in their minds for a few years now. It's the Bulls organization wants a green bottom line, and that's it. They don't care about winning. They only care about winning enough to make money. And in my mind, it's a loser mentality.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to win, right?
No.
And it's like, you look at Billy too, it's like, what has he done as a coach? Respectfully, what has he done? It's specifically for the Bulls. And you're also looking at outside of his college coaching career. He maybe had a little bit of a, stint with OKC. Okay, cool. But it's like your time with the Bulls has been pretty extensive at this point. And this team has been mediocre year after year after year.
Mm-hmm.
That's my 2 cents, obviously. I don't feel like too terribly strongly about it because at the end of the day, like I said, I'm not a Bulls fan. I'm a Pacers fan. But I share I empathize for the Bulls community, the Chicago's community, because I know that it's been a constant battle for them. Chat,
I'm with you.
Hear your thoughts, Lachelle. You agree?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, 2 of the best jobs in the NBA is being a fired NBA head coach because of the buyout, and then you get to just do nothing and get paid tons of money. And I think the second best job in the NBA is being a head coach with no expectations to win.
Yeah.
It's a perfect storm. Like, no offense to Billy, like you said, like we look back at some of his coaching tenure. It's like, yeah, some of these are pretty good and, pats on the back, but Chicago, like what is happening? What have you done to affect it? It's obvious that Chicago's like, oh, okay, great. Like that's it. It's fine. We'll just keep Billy. Like this. That's it. Like, not like, certain teams just didn't go through a whole coaching search throughout this entire offseason and other people who are waiting to get jobs. And you're like, yes, Billy. Billy
won.
Billy knows something. Billy knows something. He knows something because he's going to stay employed. He's going to, it's impressive. He's going to stay employed, and I respect it. Okay? Because again, no offense to Billy, it's just like Chicago's not good. They haven't been good since he's been there. And maybe that's a direct correlation to him. Maybe that's the players. Maybe that's the organization. Who knows? Everybody can really take blame in it. But like you said, it's obvious that Chicago has made it very clear with those 5 words, like you don't want to win. That's it. Like you can't want to after watching what you've watched with him. And you're like, yes, more money, more years. Why not?
Bring him back. We want more. We want
this is
more.
Great. Like,
hey,
I guess.
Rich keep getting richer. It's unfortunate that Chicago, I'm about to say we. I do not associate myself with the Bulls. It's unfortunate that Chicago is putting more money into his pockets. They honestly need to bring Tibbs back. The Knicks just let him go. This is a perfect opportunity to bring Tibbs back.
You think?
I think so. Chicago loved Tibbs. I think fair. Outside of Jordan era Chicago, Tibbs was the best era that they had.
That's fair.
Yeah. I could say that. Yeah. I could say that confidently.
Yeah. That's fair.
So I don't know. I mean, hey, Tibbs out there floating around in the free agent head coach ether. Somebody needs to go grab him, and it really should have been the Bulls. But here we are, stuck with another who knows how many years. I don't even know if the contract specifications have come out yet, so I don't know what. Let me see if it's made public yet, because last I saw that there was no numbers attached to it. But how many more years is Chicago stuck with Billy Donovan? The answer is no number. It still says still just says multi-year. Yeah. I don't even know if I want to know. I guess we'll see whenever the time comes. Anyway,
must suck to be a Bulls fan. Gosh,
can't relate.
How sad.
Sorry, Bulls fans. If there's any Bulls fans in the chat, W y'all for sticking around with the organization, because I know it's been an uphill battle for y'all, and it's one that I don't know if there's going to be an end in sight, but I promise there's light at the end of the tunnel. Will it be in your lifetime? Who knows? On that note, we're going to transition to my favorite segment of the evening. Michelle, why don't you kick it off for us? What do we got?
It's time, chat. The hotline is open. You know the drill. Or if you're new here, numbers on the screen. Also is going to be in the chat. And I'm also about to tell you the number. We want your hot take. We want your opinion. Maybe you have a question. Do you want to challenge and debate us on something we talked about today? Maybe we didn't talk about something that you would like our opinion on. We're here and the lines are open. The number is 312. You got that?
Caller number 1, who do we have on the line?
Good evening, ladies. How are we doing tonight?
Doing good. Doing good. How are you?
Good. Another great show. So congratulations. Wanted to get your take on whom you think will come out of the NFC East. And I guess as a follow-up to that question, what do you anticipate coming from Jayden Daniels in Washington? Is he going to have the year that he had last year? What are your thoughts?
I'm high on the Jayden Daniels train. I don't know if it's going to be exactly like his rookie year. I just think it's just one of those things where just no one knows how to game plan for you yet. I think teams know how to now. Just because you know how doesn't mean you're going to be able to stop it either. But I think it also allows him to see what he could work on going into that second year, the weaknesses that he could have and did have in that first year. I think he's going to have a really good year. I don't know if it's going to hit the same marks that it did the rookie year, because I think that was just really insane the more you think about it. And then Washington as a whole and just the ability to win as they did and as close as they could have gotten. But I do think his sophomore year is going to be good. I think it's going to allow us to know that he really is the real deal. I think a lot of people want to know that going into the second year. Like, did what we see, was it a fluke? Was it a one-time thing? I think it was not a one-time thing. I think Jayden Daniels is a really, really great quarterback. I think if he refines his passing ability, we're looking at, I wouldn't say Lamar Jackson, but some type of trajectory like that.
Yeah, that's a good take. That's a good take. I can see the possibility for that. I definitely see defense is having a year to catch up with him and study him in the off season. So I don't think it's realistic to see, to your point, the kind of year he had last year. I don't think Washington is going to have the kind of year as a team as they did last year. I'm thinking maybe, I mean, a couple of those wins were lucky wins. I'm thinking about the Bears game in particular, maybe 9 wins. 9-8 overall, maybe 10. Who do you think is going to win the division?
I'm not an Eagles. I'm not an Eagles fan.
I feel like you have to say the Eagles, though.
I know
where they they just won the Super Bowl. Like, I don't know if that's that seems like a stupid choice not to say the Eagles. And then it's like you look at the rest of the division too. You're dealing with the Cowboys and the Giants. Nah, sorry, it's the Eagles.
Yeah, it's the Eagles. I'm not an Eagles fan and I'm not a Cowboys fan, and I know that the Giants are not going to be that good. Yeah, so Philadelphia sounds about right.
Yeah, as much as you don't want to say it.
All right, so no one's going with the Commanders to win the division. Sounds like
no. Yeah, you got it, Lachelle.
Okay. I would agree with that.
Yeah, if you want to elaborate, but no, I don't think that the Commanders are going to win the division this year, especially with the Eagles coming off of the year that they had. And we talked about this before the show started, actually, where Jalen Hurts is very much in that. We're looking towards the future mentality. Like, he is very, very much past that Super Bowl win. It seems like he is in the spirit of, where we're focusing on what's up next. I think it's an interesting mentality that he has. Like I said, based on the discussion that we previously had, but it's the right mentality that the Eagles need going into this season. And if they want to have a two-peat, back to back, I think that this could be their year. So I'm going with Eagles. I think the Commanders will be good this season. It's not to discredit them by any means, but I just don't see them coming out of that division.
Football is a strange sport.
This division is one that hasn't produced a repeat winner in, I think, nearly 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
So with that history in mind, are you sure about the Philadelphia take?
You ain't got to twist my arm. I don't want them to win anyway. So, like, since you said that, let me think deeper about it then, because I didn't want to pick them anyway. Bailey kind of coerced me there.
Sorry.
Like, they won. I don't know, because like I said, the NFL is such an interesting place because you could come off a Super Bowl and have a horrible year the next year because of an injury or a string of games that start to go really, really downhill. So, like, I guess if I had to pick, I hate to say it, even though I am not a Cowboys fan, I could see the Cowboys winning the division. That pains me.
Okay, wow.
That pains me. But if I strip it at its bare bones and not look at Jerry Jones and I cover my eyes and don't think about him, you start rattling off some names on that roster, you're like, this sounds solid. This sounds like a solid team that you have here. So I would probably go Cowboys then. That pains me too.
Yeah, that pains me too. I hate the Cowboys. I hate the Cowboys.
It pains me, but I'm thinking about some things that I've seen with CD and George Pickens. I'm like, okay, this opens up the offense. Solid defense. I mean, I expect Jerry to sign Micah probably that last possible day that he possibly can. And it could look well. Because I don't like Philadelphia and I don't like Dallas. Dang, that sucked. I picked both and I'm pained. But I'm not trusting New York.
Absolutely not.
Oh, no.
Absolutely
Definitely not the Giants.
We're not doing
Definitely
that.
not the Giants.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. We do have somebody in the chat that said, I think the Eagles break that record this year. Washington's going to take a small step back.
It's fair.
Hey,
I would agree with that.
We got
I think
one
that's fair.
person on my side, and that is all I care about. We got one person on my side in favor. But on that note, thank you, caller number one. Chat, you did not disappoint this week, so we appreciate you for calling in and participating. And as always, we appreciate y'all joining us tonight on Twitch. We're live here every Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. So make sure to sub or hit that follow button. And if you missed part of our stream tonight, don't worry, because every episode is posted on YouTube on Mondays at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Pacific. This week, it might be a little different. I can't lie to you, chat. Our editor is out on vacation. So there might be a little delay to the episode this week, but you'll be getting it regardless on YouTube. We'll have the date and time updated on our brand new Instagram page. Also, if you guys haven't followed along, we have an official off the record Instagram page. It is _talk. I'll say that for you one more time. Off the record _talk. So you can follow our Instagram page where we post all the clips from our episodes. And of course, you got to follow Lachelle and I on all of our social media platforms as well, which is at the bottom of your screen. That's it, y'all. We got the chat. Yep. Actually, chat, we got a link to the Instagram for you. Easy enough. You can click it and go straight there. Hit that follow button. Like I said, don't forget to sub on here as well. Until next time, chat, we out.